of his legs, but never dimmed his spirit. Robert watched his son work at the firm, brilliant with numbers, kind to everyone. Yet he saw the loneliness creep in during quiet moments. Daniel had retreated from the world of dating, convinced no woman would want him now. "Dad, I'm fine," Daniel would say whenever Robert broached the subject. "I have my work. I have you. That's enough." But Robert knew it wasn't. He remembered being young, the joy of connection, of possibility. His late wife, Margaret, would have known what to do. 3 years since her passing, and he still reached for her wisdom. One morning, an idea came to him. "I'm doing something," Robert announced at breakfast. "Something you'll probably think is crazy." Daniel looked up from his coffee, suspicious. "Should I be worried?" "I'm arranging dates for you. Professional young women. Just conversations over lunch." "Dad, no! Hear me out!" Robert's voice was gentle but firm. "These women work in various fields. Smart, accomplished. I'm simply asking if they'd meet you for lunch. No pressure. No expectations, just a chance." Daniel was quiet for a long moment. Then, surprising them both, he nodded. "All right. One condition, though. I want to see who really sees me. Not the wheelchair. Not your money. Me." That's when Daniel made his request. "Don't tell them about the wheelchair. Let's see who stays when they find out." Robert hesitated but understood. His son needed to know he was wanted for who he was, not pitied or tolerated. The restaurant Robert chose was called Riverside Cafe. Warm wood, soft lighting, windows overlooking the water. He'd reserved the same table by the window for 5 consecutive Saturdays. The first 3 dates followed a pattern that broke Robert's heart. Sarah arrived first, polished and professional in a navy suit. Her smile was warm as she greeted them. But when Daniel wheeled himself to the table, her expression shifted. Not cruel, just careful. She stayed 20 minutes, made polite conversation about her marketing career, checked her phone twice, and excused herself. "Emergency at work," she said, avoiding Daniel's eyes. The second week brought Jennifer, an attorney with kind eyes and an easy laugh. She made it through lunch, even seemed engaged. But when Daniel suggested meeting again, she grew vague. "I'm just so busy with cases right now. Maybe sometime." They both knew what sometime meant. Week 3 was harder. Christina was charming, funny even. But halfway through lunch, she leaned in and said quietly, "You seem really nice, but I'm looking for someone more active. I hope you understand." Daniel smiled graciously. "Of course." "Thank you for being honest." Robert saw his son's smile fade the moment she left. They sat together in silence, father and son, as the afternoon light shifted across the table. "Maybe this wasn't such a good idea," Robert said softly. "No, it's okay, Dad." Daniel's voice was steady, but his eyes held disappointment. "At least we know." Saturday 4 brought Brittany, who stayed exactly 15 minutes before claiming she'd forgotten an appointment. Robert was ready to cancel the 5th date. This experiment in hope had become a lesson in heartbreak, but Daniel insisted. "One more, Dad. We committed to 5. That final Saturday started like the others. Robert and Daniel arrived early, settling at their usual table. The November afternoon cast golden light through the windows. "Her name is Emily," Robert said, checking his phone. "She's a teacher. 4th grade, Daniel nodded, straightening his collar. Preparing for another polite rejection. Then she appeared in the doorway. Emily Parker was 32, with honey blonde hair that caught the sunlight and eyes that crinkled when she smiled. She wore a simple cream sweater and carried a small gift bag. But it wasn't her appearance that struck Robert. It was how she moved through the cafe. She looked around with genuine curiosity, smiled at the waitress, and when she spotted them by the window, her whole face lit up, and she walked directly to Daniel first. "You must be Daniel," she said warmly, extending her hand to him before even acknowledging Robert. "I'm Emily. It's so lovely to meet you." In her other hand, she held out the gift bag. "I hope this isn't too forward, but I passed a bookshop on my way here and saw this in the window. Your father mentioned you love history, and I thought you might enjoy it." Daniel opened the bag carefully. Inside was a book on medieval architecture, something he'd actually been wanting to read. "This is perfect," he said, genuinely surprised. "How did you—" Your dad said you studied history in college. And I figured if someone loves history enough to major in it, they probably still love it now. She smiled. May I sit? Please, Daniel said, and Robert noticed his son's voice had changed. Less guarded, more open. Emily settled into the chair across from them, and that's when she noticed the wheelchair. Her eyes took it in, moved back to Daniel's face, and nothing in her expression changed. So, she said, leaning forward with genuine interest, your father tells me you work in finance now. Do you miss studying history? And just like that, they were talking. Really talking. Robert watched something remarkable unfold. Emily asked questions that went deeper than small talk. She told stories from her classroom that made Daniel laugh. Real laughter that Robert hadn't heard in months. When the waitress came, Emily ordered without pretense, asked Daniel what he recommended, actually tried his suggestion. An hour passed. Then 2. At one point, Emily excused herself. Robert expected her to leave like the others. Instead, she came back 10 minutes later with 2 coffees. I hope you don't mind, she said. I wasn't ready to leave yet, and I figured good conversation deserves good coffee. What made you bring the book? Daniel asked. You didn't have to do that. Emily considered the question. My mom taught me something when I was little. She said, when you meet someone new, bring them something that says you thought about them before you met them. It doesn't have to be expensive or elaborate. Just something that says, I saw you as a person before I saw your face. She paused, then added softly, I lost my mom 2 years ago, but I try to honor what she taught me. Robert saw Daniel reach across the table, a gesture so natural it seemed inevitable. Emily met him halfway, her hand covering his. I lost my mother 3 years ago, Daniel said. She would have liked you. The afternoon stretched into evening. Other diners came and went. The light outside shifted from gold to amber to the soft blue of dusk. 6 months later, Robert watched Daniel and Emily walk, Daniel wheeling, Emily's hand resting gently on his shoulder, through that same cafe. They came here every Saturday now, their table by the window reserved not by Robert's influence, but by their own regular presence. They were building something real, something lasting. And it had started with the simplest act of human kindness, one person truly seeing another.